We will chant the Upadhyaya Stotram. Upadhyaya Stotram. Yes. Can you hear me? संसार समुद्रधार नौकायिताभ्यां कुरुभक्तिदाभ्यां वैराग्य साम्राज्यपूजनाभ्यां नमो नमः श्री गुरुपादुकाभ्यां कवित्ववाराशिनिशाकराभ्यां दौर्भाग्यदावाम्बुधमालिकाभ्यां दूरीकृतानम्रविपत्ततिभ्यां नमो नमः श्री गुरुपादुकाभ्यां नताययो श्रीपतितां समीयुः कदाचिदप्याशु दरिद्रवर्याः मूकाश्च वाचस्पतितां हिताभ्याम् नमो नमः श्री गुरुपादुकाभ्याम् अनेकनिकाशपदाहृताभ्याम् नानाविमोहादिनिवारिकाभ्याम् नमज्जनाभीष्टततिप्रदाभ्याम् नमो नमः श्री गुरुपादुकाभ्याम् कन्यकाभ्याम् नृपत्पदा नमो नमः श्री गुरुपादुकाभ्याम्
Please close the door. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma Vidvishavahai Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shama is very difficult to gain. This emotional, mental equanimity comes from years of practice. Not only does it come from years of practice, it is also a blessing of Vedanta Shastra. Here we have our usual catch 22. In order to study Vedanta Shastra, what I need? Shama. And then the study of the Vedanta Shastra itself gives Shama. So this is what. So Shama takes a long time to acquire and practice because, with regard to the sense organs, one is not able to manage them. Neither is one able to manage the tsunami of emotions, fear, anger, sorrow. Everything just starts to just arrive, and only after it arrives and I have reacted, I know, oh, I shouldn't have done that. It's always in hindsight. So therefore, there is one more upaya, which is Dhamma. In fact, when Pujya Swamiji did the discussion of Shama and Dhamma, many times he would take Dhamma first and then Shama for this particular reason. And what is the reason? The reason is what is Dhamma is explained here itself. Let us chant that verse. Vishayebhyah paravritya स्थापनं स्वस्वगोलके उभयेषामिन्द्रियाणां सदमः परिकीर्तितः. So, Vishayebhyah paravritya. Vishaya means objects. What kind of objects? Delightful objects. We have to add here. From the delightful objects, paravritya, withdrawing, coming out of it, paravritya, vishayebhya. And the word vishaya is formed from vishinoti badhnati iti vishayaha. That which binds is called vishaya. Very interesting. So anything that I want is actually has a clawing, binding nature. In Sanskrit, you will see if you haven't already, in the Sanskrit language, there is every meaning of the word is embedded in the word itself. It's very beautiful. Vishinoti badhnati. Badhnati means that which binds is called Vishaya. And so, how does the Vishaya bind? It binds in many ways. First, it's just a small little dalliance. I think I can just go play here and then come back. I'm not addicted to this. I'm much better than this. But then, what happens is that Vishaya takes over in a way by creating a situation of dependency, by creating some kind of a place, a situation, by placing you in a situation from which it is difficult to extricate oneself. This is true of every relationship, this is true of every situation, this is true also of everything that one encounters. And so, Vishayebhyah paravritya, having returned the mind, or not just the mind, it will talk about it. Having returned, we'll see what returns. Having returned from the Vishaya, sthapanam swaswa golake. Golaka means apertures. This is an aperture. Where the eyeball is, that's called golaka. Where the ear is placed, the organ of hearing, there is, if we take away that, what is left? That is called golaka. Where the mouth is, tongue is golaka. So, and then if supposing the hands are not there, that where the hands should be, golaka. Golaka means the apertures or the play where those many things are placed. So, Vishayebhyah paravritya sthapanam swaswa golake. the establishment, the placing in their own respective places. Of what? What are we placing? Ubhayesham indriyanam. Both the karmendriyas and the jnanendriyas. What is karmendriya? Organs of action. Organs of action I keep with myself. When the mind is saying what? Give the fellow one. What do? I just, the thought comes and maybe the fist is already made. But I turn it into a Bharatanatyam mudra and slowly withdraw the hand back to myself. I keep the hands with myself. Unnecessary cheshta means too much movement. Some people, I think it is, what is it? Indians also do it, but I think Italians are better than we are in terms of talking with their hands. That is what it is said. I don't know if it is true. Yeah, yeah, like that. So, do that one more time. Yeah, like that. Yes. So they talk with their hands fully, and so that is the opposite of Dhamma, because the organs of actions are with me. And then the legs also are important. That's also an organ of action. Because suddenly I feel like kicking. But then I have to recall I'm not a donkey, at least in this life. Yeah, the last life, I don't know what I was. I'm not responsible for the last life. It's over and done. But I'm not a donkey in this life. No kicking allowed. So, like this, hands, legs, Pani Pada, and then Vak. Very important. Vak means speech. Speech is what? Speech is always say it now and then regret it for the rest of your life later. Speak in haste and regret at leisure. So a lot of time is there, why did I do this? Why didn't I say this? Why did I say this? All these things. So then it's not about controlling the organs of action. And of course, this need not be told. The organs of elimination and reproduction are also what is it called? Karmendriyas. Over that also we have to manage. It's not about controlling, it's about management. It's about management. We can't let the tongue give somebody a lashing. Just because, why will the tongue give somebody a lashing? Because there is anger in the heart, in the head. And so the tongue has to be in its place, and then everything has to be in its place. And so Shama is very difficult, having a tranquil, resolved mind so that all these things, tsunamis don't come out. That is a saintly life. And one is working towards that, yes. But then in the time being, meanwhile, I can help myself to what? Help myself to Dhamma. So Dhamma means first I stop the organs of action, including speech, from being reactive. Somebody says something, immediately I want to tell them who is the boss. No. You let them, allow them to say whatever it is, and then there are, that's why Shama and Dhamma are twins. They are always together. So, Dhamma is easier to practice, but it has to be followed up by Shama. Otherwise, what will happen? You just keep stuffing it in. Okay, I didn't react. Yesterday also what? I didn't react. Like a pressure cooker without a safety valve. What will happen? It will blow up. It will really blow up. And in India, we are very brave. We love using pressure cookers, not so much in other countries. This is because it has a safety valve. And here, Dhamma and Shama together, Shama is gained by using this safety valve. And what does that mean? So, right now I did not react. Yay, gold star for me. I was very good. I did not react. Awesome. And then what? Then I go home, go to my room, and start replaying everything and get more and more and more angry. This is of not much use. So, Shama means resolving those difficult emotions. Once Dhamma is practiced, then Shama should follow, because resolving those difficult emotions is very important. And here again we turn to the limitless Pujya Swamiji, who had such a repertoire of knowledge. And he said, one way to get instant Shama, what to do, he said, especially if you're living in an ashram like situation, and you also have a roommate, and you're angry with the roommate. What to do? Take a towel, make it wet, go to the bathroom, and then tell your friend, don't worry if strange noises are coming from the bathroom. And then what to do? You make the towel wet, wring it out, and slap the floor. Imagine the person that you're angry with lying down on the floor. Take that, you say. Take that and that and that and that and that. You deserve that, take that. How dare you talk to me like this? How dare you behave like this? You think the ashram belongs to your father? This is so how can you do this? Come back here. And I'm not done with you. Some more, some more, some more. Till the hands, the karmendriyas get tired and the anger is vented out safely. This is the safety valve. The anger is vented out safely in the sense I did not target the other person and I did not blame or target myself. This is very important. The management of strong emotions without hurting somebody else or self harm is Shama. If Shama is already there, Dhamma is not required. But most of the time, what happens? Dhamma is not there. So therefore, Shama is Shama is not there. Sorry. Therefore, Dhamma becomes the first level of reaction, managing those reactivity, that reactivity in myself, and then it is I take the time to resolve it. This includes writing it out. Yeah, because the wet towel may not be appropriate in all situations. You write it out. You talk it out. Go to the Ganga. Yeah, she will take anything you say. She will not react. Go to Mother Ganga and then talk it out, say it out, and then vent it out. And after the venting comes some very important realizations about oneself. So the venting is the first level is withdrawing of the organs of actions, number one. Second level is the venting and clearing the heart of the difficult emotions. And the third level is analysis. This is what constitutes Dhamma and Shama together. The first one is Dhamma, the second two become Shama. So the analysis looks like this. Why did I want to burst out at this person? And this person is who? Practically a stranger. I have known them for 2 weeks, maybe. I have known them, recently. Why did I burst out? Oh, because the first answer will be the wrong answer. The first answer will come because they are an idiot. Yeah, that's the answer that will come. Do not believe in that answer. You go deeper and say, what is the trigger for me? When did I first feel this? How am I feeling? You have to check in with yourself. I feel angry, and beneath the anger, what is there? I feel powerless. I feel victimized. I feel betrayed. I feel traumatized. All these things you analyze, you point out how you feel, and then you ask yourself the question, when did I first feel this way? It will always go back to some incident in childhood. And even if one may not remember the incident, it is important to know that this issue is a trigger for me. It's important to list the triggers. Just like you have a list of allergies. I'm allergic to penicillin. I'm allergic to this. I'm allergic to peanuts. I'm allergic to What else? Dust. I'm allergic to dust. People say that. And people are allergic to many things. So just like you have a list of allergens from which you have to stay away for physical wellness, so that you don't have a terrible anaphylactic reaction. Similarly, you list this in the same way you list the triggers. How not to list? You don't say, you know what, I'm allergic to people. No, that is that is not acceptable. I'm allergic to people is not acceptable. But other than that, you can say it's not about others, it's about oneself. For example, I get triggered, one can say, one can write this down. I get triggered under blank situations and circumstances. I get triggered whenever somebody talks in a loud voice, for example. I'm just making stuff up. I get triggered when somebody is not kind. I get triggered when somebody does not include me in their plans. I get triggered when I feel unwanted. We own up the triggers. We own up the triggers, and owning up those triggers is halfway of resolving them. You're already halfway. And then they will get resolved. You take it to the altar that is Bhagavan and say, you made this mad mind, did you not? You created this mad mind, take it. You take it. Take it back, or tell me how to deal with this mind. Show me what to do. And the prayer will definitely be answered, because this is how we bring in Ishvara for Shama, Dama, etc. So Dama is Vishayebhyah Paravritya, returning from all these triggering issues or any other issues, delightful issues, Sthapanam Swasva Golake Ubhayesham Indriyanam. Both the organs of actions and the sense organs go back to their respective places. Even though they want to leap and go somewhere else, I exercise caution in what I engage in. I exercise restraint, discrimination. So this is Shama, Dama, and then Uparati and Titiksha are described in the next verse. Uparati is only in one line, and Titiksha is the other two lines. And what is the Uparati verse? How does it start? Bahyanālambanam vrittehe येषोपरतिरुत्तमा सहनं सर्वदुःखानाम् अप्रतीकारपूर्वकम् चिन्ताविलापरहितम् सा तितिक्षा निगद्यते. So, first Uparma is taken just in a small sentence. He dismisses it, meaning he just covers it because he's already covered it before in different way. So, Bahya Analambanam. Alambanam, dependence. Analambanam, independence. Non-dependence. Non-dependence on what? Bahya Vastu. External things. See, it is almost like Dama, but with a twist, as we'll see. So, Bahya Analambanam, Bahya Vastunha Analambanam. So, no, there is no, I let go of props. Otherwise, everybody needs a prop. One leans on somebody, one leans on something, one is constantly leaning, and one is leaning on everything except Brahman. This is what happens. One is leaning on the finite and then shocked when that support goes away. And that support will go away because it is finite. Anything you lean on other than yourself is finite. So when that support goes away, it just is not there. It breaks, or the relationship breaks, or whatever happens. It comes to an end. Then what happens? There is disappointment galore. fear, disappointment, insecurity, all these follow. So uparatihi, samipe, upa means near. Ratihi here means love. Love for what? Brahman. So staying near the Guru, staying near the Shastra, one develops a love for Brahman, meaning oneself. It's not self-love as looking in the mirror and saying, not bad. No. That is not what, that is love of the body. Love of the self is not the love of the body. Love of the self is understanding that everything is okay. Even if it looks not okay, I am okay, everything is okay, and everything is fine. Understanding that is what is called uparati. Uparati is like a mini sannyasa where I withdraw from other sources of support. All the sources of support, wanting to lean on somebody for something, wanting to lean on somebody else for something, all that is withdrawn, totally withdrawn. And then when I withdraw from that, of course there'll be fear, but then we don't have to worry because when the fear comes, Shama and Dama are there. We go back to the practice of Dama and Shama and resolve those fears. So, Bakhya Analambanam Vrittehe. Here, Vritti means thoughts, even at the level of thoughts, depending upon certain notions, etc., that also is avoided. And the second meaning of analambanam is what? Analambanam, vritti. The second meaning of vritti is the activities. So, in my thought, in my activities, I do not have any dependency. That is eshaha uparatihi uttama. Uttama means of the best kind of uparati is this alone. Then the next one is what? Titiksha. And again, even though it has a desiderative construction, here it's just a noun. It's not a desire to have titiksha or anything like that. It's not that. Titiksha means forbearance. Forbearance. Here's a secret. Things do not go one's way any of the time. Yeah. And so if I keep railing, ranting against life all the time, I'm a miserable person. I'm a sad, miserable person, and Vedanta will not come near me. You tell Mother Shruti, come and bless me. She says, another time, not right now. Not right now, because you are not going to be able to understand this. Because one is constantly in this reactive mode. And so, titiksha means forbearance of what? Sahanam sahishnuta, the ability to bear what? Sarva dukkhanam. Dukkha here is not sorrow. Dukkha means difficulties. The ability to put up with difficulties for the sake of this knowledge. So, the ability to put up with difficulties for the sake of this knowledge. That is the reason why ashrams are not five-star hotels where you can get everything on demand. If you go to five-star hotel, you are paying through the nose, and then you can say, you can just pick up the phone, press one button, and then whatever you want comes in a nice tray. It will be delivered to you. And here, what happens? It's all just simple living, not like how it is at home. Perhaps at home, it's much more comfortable. Perhaps at home, there are people to attend to every need. But here, on purpose, it's not like that. Not because one is cruel, not because the gurus in the ashrams are cruel. No. But there is something very beautiful about not being dependent on creature comforts. There's something, in the beginning it's difficult, in the beginning it feels terrible, but then you will be surprised how quickly one gets used to it. All the things, oh, my favorite cup, I don't have. I cannot drink tea without it. All these kinds of dependencies go away, totally go away, because one is focused on something else. Because if the creature comforts become the point in life, then what happens is that there is no space for exploring anywhere else. There is no space for anything. So, for the sake of this knowledge, I am willing to put up with whatever is thrown at me karmically. This is a very big thing. This is called titiksha. So, because what happens is that adversity, as they say, even in English, there is one idiom, adversity builds character. It really does. And in the West, I think inspired by Japan, there is one minimalistic movement. Minimalistic. How much can you throw away? These people are not in ashrams. These people are in their own house. First, they move into some kind of a tiny home, very tiny. And then they challenge themselves. How much can you throw away? How little can you live with? It's very nice, actually. So, and in some countries, they're doing this. They're challenging, the minimalist challenge is there. And so, there is a great sense of independence. The less I depend on things for my comfort, for my well being, the freer I am. And the freest one, according to the Yati Panchakam, there is one quintet called Yati Panchakam. And there it says, Kaupinavantaha khalu bhagyavantaha. So the person has only kaupina. Kaupina means a loin cloth to cover the body. That's it. A loin cloth. So I was teaching this once in our Sailorsburg ashram, and somebody had a question. So if I buy a loin cloth from Amazon.com, will I also become Bhagyavanta? Bhagyavanta means what? Very, very fortunate and auspicious and lucky and everything. The answer is no. Only Kaupina. Kevala Kaupina. There's nothing else the person is owning. Why? They have a house? No. Where do they stay? Moolam taroho kevalam ashrayantaha. Their house is under the tree. Again, freedom. If that tree is not nice, you can just go to the other tree without going to the real estate agent. I'm shifting trees. What is the mortgage here? I need a bigger tree. No, you just walk and go. It's free. The tree is free. And then Moolam taroho kevalam ashrayantaha. And then also you can save on not buying expensive china, bone china, all these china. How to, and you're afraid because everybody has butter fingers and one is afraid that's so much money you have given, and then what will happen? It will break and the set will be gone. Here, it's very easy. So, the person has the finest organic china. What is that? Panidvaye bhoktum amantrayantaha. Always ready to eat. This is plate, this is spoon, or this is fork. See, you can make a fork or you can make a spoon. If there's a liquid to eat, you go like this, and then you slurp it. If you want a fork, you go like this. Simple. Then wash, wipe. That's all. Nothing. Nothing to upkeep. Nothing to protect. All this is titiksha. Kaupinavantaha khalu bhagyavantaha. They are the most auspicious people who don't depend on anything. And so that is a far cry. We are not in those times, in the ancient times. And so now we just practice. We practice being comfortably uncomfortable, which is a very, very good thing for one's growth. It really, really is. And so sahanam sarva dukkhanam, putting up with discomfort and difficulties. How? Apratikara purvakam, without retaliation. Pratikara means reactivity, retaliation. So somebody took something. It was what? Mine. How dare they take it? I'll show them. I'll take something from them in full view. I'll take something from them. This is not, this is not titiksha. So three things have to be there for it to be defined as titiksha. One is non-retaliation, which builds in the heart a certain saintliness. The saint does not react. The saint does not retaliate. So one grows into a saint. That is everybody's destiny in the Hindu Dharma, to grow into a saint. Our concept of saint is very different from Vatican. In the Vatican, after so many centuries, sometimes the person has died and gone, and then they exhume the body, and then they look at some miracles, and then the Vatican will give one, what is that called? Certificate. So and so is a saint. We are not looking for certificate. Nobody needs to give us a certificate because it's the mandatory duty of all of us to grow into a saint, into a saintly being. And titiksha is an invaluable tool. So, three conditions I said. First condition, non retaliation while putting up with difficulties. Number one. The second condition is chintarahitam. Chintarahityam means you don't implode and start worrying, oh, what's going to happen? And this is terrible. This is so difficult. I can't adjust. And oh no. And then chintarahitam, second, vilaparahitam. Vilapa means complaining loudly. You don't complain loudly and you don't complain inside your head either. This is titiksha. To illustrate this, Pujya Swamiji had a fantastic story about this man who was going in the train, and between the stations there was about a half an hour, and then he started to say, I'm so thirsty, I'm so thirsty, we didn't fill up water at the last station, I'm so thirsty, I'm so thirsty, I'm so thirsty. Everybody was sick of him in the compartment because he was so thirsty, and he made sure everybody in the whole train knew how thirsty he was. And then, to everybody's relief, more than the man, other people were relieved when the station came because they thought, okay, good. He will go, get down, drink to his heart's content, fill up two bottles also, come back, and then we will hear the end of it. This is exactly what the man did. He got down, he just filled up the bottles, and then he drank till his stomach was just bloated, came back inside, and then the train took off, started to move. And everybody thought, let's take a nap. Now we will have some shanti. But what did he do? I was so thirsty. You know how thirsty I was? I was so thirsty. I was so thirsty. For another half an hour, he went on and on. Is this titiksha? No. Sahanam sarva dukkhanam apratikara purvakam chinta vilaparahitam sa titiksha nigadyate. What is the next one? Shraddha. Shastrasya guru vakyasya satya buddhyavadharana सा श्रद्धा कथिता सद्भिः यया वस्तुपलभ्यते. Very nice. So, with reference to the Shastra and with reference to the Guru's Vakya, the Guru's words, and with reference to the Shastra, I have Astikya Buddhi. Astikya Buddhi means giving the benefit of doubt to the teacher and the Shastra, even though I have questions. How can I be Brahman? It's not possible. Let's put the book away. No. I can't be Brahman. I can't be God. How can I be God? At best, I am G silent. What am I? Odd. I'm not God. How can I be all? I am but small. How can I be the cause? Because I am just because. So this way, this way, I put the book and the quest of Vedanta to one side because I have certain notions about the smallness and the limitation of this I, and so therefore I just put this book away and do not read it. Stop going to the classes because the teacher is saying what? The teacher is just a microphone of the Shastra. The teacher just amplifies the message of the Shastra in a way that one is able to hear, taking into account the difficulties that one oneself had gone through, and then teaching from that angle. It is very, very important. But here, the Shraddha means having the benefit of doubt with regard to the Shastra and with regard to the teacher. Giving the teacher the benefit of doubt. It is, as we said earlier, Shraddha is trust pending understanding. Even Swamiji was talking about it this morning. There are certain things which are beliefs, and those traditions are called what? Faiths, because it's all faith based. Here, there is nothing to believe. It's a fact that has to be discovered, and I have to discover it. And in order to do that, I have to trust something. If I trust nobody, no one, then I'm actually cutting the branch upon which I sit. What will happen? Yeah, crash. That's what will happen. It's called self sabotage. Self sabotage. So, this is a form of self sabotage, and so I avoid that. I avoid that by daring to trust the Shastra and then knowing that the Shastra and the Guru are a package deal. One does not come without the other. There is no Guru without Shastra, there is no Shastra without Guru. It's like when you go and sign up for a guided tour. You go to a new city and then you say, I don't have a lot of time. In one day, I want to see the whole city. What happens? One tour guide is assigned. And the tour guide will say, look on the left, this is the government building. Look on the right, this is a park. Like this, it shows you all the things in the city in a short time, because that person, the tour guide, is an expert. They have done this many, many times before. They are born and bred in that city. They know the city like the back of their hand. And they are able to, and even if one area is crowded, they are able to direct the bus and take it through a different place. So, in this way, the teacher is like a tour guide of the Shastra trip. The Shastra trip we are embarking on, the teacher is the tour guide that highlights various things and then takes you to the other side of samsara, which is moksha. So, therefore, the trust has to be cultivated. Why do I say cultivated? Because it is not there. Why is it not there? Because it went a long time ago. As a child, one is helpless. The animals, babies, stand up as soon as they are born. You look at the baby giraffe, you look at the baby cat, baby, dog, or they just stand up. They stand up and they are able to take care of themselves. They depend on the mother's milk and all that, but still they are able to stand up. The elephant, baby elephant, has to immediately start walking because otherwise there is danger. And the whole herd, in one National Geographic video I saw, very touching, the whole herd was protecting this elephant because it was weak and unable to move. It needed a little more time. And all the matriarchs were nudging it with the trunk. Come on, you can do it. Get up, little fellow. Get up, get up, get up. And then finally it got up, on this kind of unsteady legs, and still they protected it. They did not let any other animal come in. And then when it started to walk, they all were so happy, they trumpeted. And then they took the other elephant, the baby elephant also followed. It's not like that with the human baby. The human baby is an incarnation, a Purna Avatara of total helplessness. Total helplessness. Can't even turn over. Same cry. Whether it wants a nappy change, whether it wants food, or whether it has colic. Same cry. The parents have to do guesswork. Why it is crying, they have to do some guesswork. It cannot communicate. It cannot turn over. And this total helplessness is compensated by total trust. Anybody picks it up, a small newborn infant or a 1 month old infant, it will go to anybody. It will not say, "You don't look like my mom, who are you?" It will not say that. It will trust anybody and everybody. And this total trust, which compensates the total helplessness, is Ishvara's law. And then the child grows up looking at the primary caregivers as God and Goddess. Ooh, this one is called mom. She can walk. I can't even walk. She can talk. He can eat. He can drink. He can throw me up high and catch me. How wonderful. I can't do any of this. They must be gods. The child has a Shobhana Adhyasa upon the parents because it doesn't know any better. The total trust makes it think that they are gods. And again, to bring in inimitable example of Pujya Swamiji, the child grows up thinking they are going to keep me safe. They are never going to push me into the mouth of danger. This is what the child is thinking. And then what happens? A big cockroach comes. The child has never seen this, and the cockroaches are unpredictable. They suddenly go here and then they suddenly go there, suddenly climb on something. The child is frightened, very frightened. Goes to the mother, catches hold of the mother's dress and says, "Mom, mom, look, this is scary. What is this?" Mom takes one look at the cockroach, climbs on the dining table, leaving the child there. Then the child thinks, maybe dad will come to the rescue. Dad in the other room says, "I'm not coming in. I will call pest control from the other room itself." And see what happens to the child's psyche. What happens is that there is a loss of trust. Oh, they are not all powerful. And guess what? They're not going to protect me. I'm on my own. Here, I was all on my own. They did not help. They were not there for me. And so this loss of trust continues. Continues. This is what is called, well, this is what Freud called the formation of the unconscious mind. From 0 to 4 years, this is what happens. First, there is total trust, and then there is Ashobhana Adhyasa, loss of trust. Loss of trust in the primary, not caregivers. What? Caregivers. and so there is this loss of trust one has to deal with. And therefore, the child becomes all untrusting. And the parents also don't help because they say, "Don't trust strangers. If somebody gives you candy, don't take it. Don't get into unknown car. Don't go off with somebody else." The parents are also worried about the child's safety, and the child is socialized. It learns to not trust anything and anybody. And this same child grows into an adult, comes to Vedanta. What will happen? See, yeah, what will happen? Nothing will happen. That is the whole point. So the loss of trust that happened with the local and mother and father at age 3 or at age 4 has to be compensated by cultivating trust for the mother and the father of the universe. Vagarthaviva sampriktau vagartha pratipattaye jagatah pitarau vande Parvati Parameshwarau. So that loss of trust in the local caregivers has to now become a cosmic trust. The trust in the cosmos, the trust in the creator and the creatrix, the mother and the father of the universe, that's where the trust has to be discovered because one knows that the human being is eminently fallible. Even if the parents did their best, the child will endure this loss of trust because it's part of Ishvara's law. Even if one has the best of parents, still there is a loss of trust that one has to reckon. And this is what Pujya Swamiji called settling accounts with Ishvara. Settling accounts with Ishvara. Because usually one does not trust anybody, and that trustlessness, that hopelessness also applies to Bhagavan. One doesn't trust Bhagavan also. But somewhere one has to break that impasse and see in Bhagavan a law. What is the law? The law that governs in my mind. You see, then it's no longer your sorrow, it's no longer your pain, it's no longer your issues. The law that governs my mind, when I say my anger, my fear, my loss of trust, if I say this is a psychological order of Bhagavan, that means it's no longer my loss, my trust. It's no longer the loss of my trust. It is a empirical fact that is happening to everybody. That's why the science of psychology can predict. Given this kind of a background of neglect, the adult child will have these kinds of issues. There's so much research done. The adult child of alcoholics will have trust issues. All these things are already pages and pages, books and books have been written on all these things. Except the psychologists do not really acknowledge Ishvara. But here we know better. We know that all this is there. Even my own mind is governed by the laws. And the loss of trust is also part of this law. I come to a place of self acceptance from which the trust, to regain that trust, becomes very, very easy. I'm already on a strong footing. This is very, very beautiful. So this in the Taittiriya Upanishad we have a prayer. Matrudevo bhava, pitrudevo bhava, like this. Acharya devo bhava, atithi devo bhava. And people translate it wrongly. They say, oh, mother is God. No, father is God. No. It says, you be the one unto whom the mother is an incarnation of Bhagavan, Bhagavati. You be the one for whom the father is an incarnation of Bhagavan or Bhagavati. Very difficult because the local father has so many issues. I have all these issues with the father. I have mother issues and father issues. A whole lot of them. How do I follow? Because Matrudevo Bhava, it's an injunction. It's a Vedic injunction. Ling, Lord, Tavya. These are all various grammatical verbal suffixes. Matrudevo Bhava. Follow this. That means I have to make peace with my parentage. This is what is called settling down. This is Shraddha. Instead of blaming the mother, blaming the father, blaming everybody, I say this was inevitable. Everything is inevitable. Did you choose your parents? No. Did you choose the pecking order? Did you choose whether you will be the eldest or the middle or the youngest? No. It was already ordained that these people will be your parents. This will be your position in the life. And nothing is okay. Because if one has parents that are very, very lenient, one will wish, I wish they were strict. That's why I'm like this. And if you have parents that were strict, see what they have made of me. Too strict. Tiger mom, tiger dad. There are all these kinds of parentings which are now, everything has a name. Tiger mom, tiger dad, what do? They never praise their children because they are worried that the child will get spoiled. The child is not milk, okay, to get spoiled. But anyhow, that's the fear. So they'll keep on berating the child, and then growing up, the child supposedly becomes an overachiever and then a perfectionist, unforgiving of itself as an adult. This is called tiger mom, tiger dad. And then there is helicopter. This is very interesting. Helicopter mom, helicopter dad. And what do the helicopter parents do? They hover close to the child, chop, 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 horrible noise is there, chopper noise is there. They don't let the child make any decisions, overprotective, and the child becomes helpless. without the parents at any given time. It doesn't have basic life skills, failure to launch into the society. That is what happens to this helicoptered, child. So like this, and then there are parents who want to be the friends of their children. So they don't think they are parents. They just discuss oversharing. They discuss all kinds of things for that, in that little mind, and making it over responsible. And for such people, we have to say, if you want a friend, please go get a life. Don't make your child your friend. What do you have to do? You can be friendly towards the child, nothing wrong, but don't make it your friend. So, like this, various kinds of parenting styles are there. And the fact that I have had these kinds of parents, I have to make peace with. I cannot make peace with the local parents. Maybe they are not even alive. Maybe they're not even in this world. And even if they are, you tried going and telling your parents you were all wrong. Especially Indian parents, they will say, go deal with it. Yeah, that's what they will say. So you can't tell the parents for one reason or the other. So where do you go? You go to Ishvara. Go to Ishvara, you settle accounts with the parents of the universe by making peace with your background. This is how the background is. And the more difficult the background, the more the chances are that you will grow into a saint. Very true. If you look at the lives of all the saints, including our Pujya Swamiji, their lives were not a picnic. Their lives were very difficult. You find very difficult incidents, but they overcame that with their bhakti, with their titiksha, with their jnana. And that is what we have to do. And so, this regaining of the trust lost in childhood is called Shraddha. Shraddha. And then what else? Samadhanam. Or how does Samadhanam go? Sarvada sthapanam buddhehe Shuddhe brahmani sarvatha Tat samadhanam something something natu yuktam natu chittasya lalanam. Yeah. So, samadhanam, in vernacular languages, samadhanam means feeling better, consoling your somebody or consoling yourself. That is not what it is here. So, samadhanam means the focus on the teaching is so much that you don't look here, don't look there. This is called samadhanam. And a story is, told about one king in the Upanishads, one king called Janaka, one king Janaka in the Upanishads who was a jnani, and he would be sent brahmacharis. The guru would send brahmacharis from the ashrams to go intern with him. And then so he gives two lamps filled with oil, totally filled with oil, and then says, go make a round of the palace without spilling a drop to one of the brahmacharis. And this person goes without anything, and then comes back very pleased with himself that he has not spilled a drop. And then the king says, what is in room number 341? Describe the murals, describe the stained glass windows. He said, there was stained glass. I didn't know. I was just focusing on the lamp, not spilling. And so, like this. But of course, he made him go again, because what he was trying to do was make the student be aware of whatever is happening, while at the same time not losing the focus. This is samadhana. Many things will come to one's notice. So many things come to one's notice. One lets go of that worry. One lets go of that problems. One lets go of that and just comes back. Sarvada sthapanam buddhehe. Shuddhe Brahmani. In this Brahman, free of attributes, free of complaints, free of problems, I always put my buddhi. I come back. I may go, but then I come back. Go, come back. Go, come back. Tat samadhanam iti uktam. Natu chittasya lalanam. Chittasya lalanam means appeasing the emotions. Chitta here is emotions, the emotive faculty. Chitta means different things in different contexts. Sometimes it means memory, sometimes it means emotions, etc. So here it means emotions. Lalanam means appeasing the emotions. Appeasing the emotions, meaning the feelings will take you on a high and then they will take you on a low and then you'll go all over the place. And then if you keep trying to appease the feelings, then achieving samadhanam is very, very, very difficult. And so, therefore, care has to be taken to come back to the Vidya. No matter whatever it is, the cares of the world that take me away, whether it's some kind of a responsibility or some fear, something. It may hijack me and take me away, but I come back to the center again and again. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnamevavashyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Those who take dakshina can just collect from me as I walk down.